The Champions League is finally here, and you know what that means. Champions League predictions. Every single match day, I'll be uploading a video where I'll be predicting every single game throughout that week. In these videos, I'll be predicting the results of every single match from Group A all the way down to Group H. So without further ado, let's get right into my predictions for the first match day. Starting off in Group A, we got a crazy fixture. Bayern Munich versus Manchester United. Honestly, I think this is going to be one of the best games of the match day one. Both of these teams are incredibly powerful teams, and realistically they could both make it really far in this Champions League. As for which team is going to win this game, honestly it could go either way, but I do think that Bayern Munich definitely have the edge over Manchester United. Obviously they're playing at home, they are an incredible team, and their transfers this summer, signing Kim Min-jae, Guerrero, and most recently Harry Kane, have all worked out perfectly. So for that reason, I do think that Bayern Munich are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win 3-1. The next game in this group is Galatasaray versus FC Copenhagen, and in my opinion, this is going to be a fairly easy win for Galatasaray. Sadly for Copenhagen, I do think they have one of the worst teams in this Champions League, but on the other hand, Galatasaray have made some incredible signings this summer, and honestly, I think they look like a very underrated team, almost like a dark horse, and I think that they could give possibly Manchester United a run for their money in this group. So for this reason, I do think that Galatasaray are going to come away with this win. They're playing at home, and I do think that they're going to win 2-0. Moving on into Group B, the first game we got is Arsenal against PSV Eindhoven. And in my opinion, this is actually going to be a fairly even game, I feel like. Arsenal have had a good start to the season, but they have drawn against the likes of Fulham, which realistically they really should have won that game. Although PSV have lost some key players this summer, especially the likes of Xavi Simons, I do think that they still have a very good team. They have a lot of youngsters, and you never know, they could possibly pull away with this win. But Arsenal obviously do have the advantage because they are playing at home. So for that reason, I think they're just gonna edge this game, and I think Arsenal are going to win 2-1. The second game we got in Group B is Sevilla versus Lens. Honestly, in my opinion, I have no clue who's going to win this game. Both Sevilla and Lens have started off the season horribly. In the La Liga, Sevilla haven't won any games in their last 3, and they haven't even drawn any games. They've lost every single game this season. But Lens is no different. They've played 4 games, they've drawn 1, and they've lost 3 as well. So both of these teams are still winless in their respective leagues, which is honestly crazy in my opinion. If you know anything about the Sevilla fans, they are absolutely crazy. And obviously Sevilla is playing at home. So for that reason, I think they're just going to edge this game. It's going to be a very low scoring game in my opinion. And I do think Sevilla will win this game 1-0. Moving right on into Group C, the first game we got is Real Madrid versus Union Berlin. In my opinion, I do think that Real Madrid are going to win this game. I think they have an incredible team. They have incredible youngsters. Obviously, Jude Bellingham is going crazy. Like, this guy is scoring goals for fun. He's getting assists for fun. He is the best player on Real Madrid's team right now. And I do think that he's going to score this game. And I do think Real Madrid will win. Union Berlin obviously are a good team, and they have had a good start to this Bundesliga season. But with their lack of Champions League experience, I do think that Real Madrid will win this game pretty easily, and I think it's going to be a 3-0 scoreline. The second game we got in Group C is Braga versus Napoli. Obviously, I do support Napoli, and I do think that they can make it pretty far in this Champions League run. Obviously, Napoli haven't had the best start in the Serie A. They have been playing very well, but this is kind of expected when you have a new manager. A couple players have left, a couple new players in the team. It is going to take a little bit of time, but eventually I do think that they will get back to the incredible team that they were like last season. On the other hand, Braga have had a pretty good start in the Liga Portugal. They haven't had an incredible start. They've won a couple games, they drew a game, they lost a game, but I do think that they will make this game pretty challenging for Napoli. Obviously, they are playing at home, which helps them a lot, but I do back Napoli to come away with this win. I think they're going to win 2-1. Moving on into Group D, the first game we got is Benfica versus Salzburg. And in my opinion, this is the first upset in this video so far. I feel like a lot of people will back Benfica to win this game, but in my opinion, I think Salzburg are gonna do it. Benfica haven't had the most convincing start to this season in the Liga Portugal. They have obviously won a few games, but compared to how they played last season, the season before, I feel like they've kind of dropped down a level from where they were before. Obviously, Benfica do have the home advantage, but I just don't think they'll be able to keep Salzburg from scoring. And for that reason, I think Salzburg are going to win this game 2-1. The second game we got in Group D is Real Sociedad against Inter. In my opinion, Inter have had an incredible start in the Serie A. I've watched a few of their games. They're scoring tons of goals. They're winning a lot of games. And to be honest, they look like an incredible team. In my opinion, I do think Inter will win. I feel like a lot of people will back Inter in this game. And honestly, I don't think Real Sociedad will score, to be honest. So I think Inter are going to win this game 3-0. Moving on into Group E, the first game we got in this group is Feyenoord versus Celtic. And in my opinion, I'm sorry Celtic, but I just don't see you guys getting any wins in this group. Now, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I do think that they have the worst squad, and I think the other three teams will definitely dominate in this group. Feyenoord have made a few good signings this summer. Their team is looking pretty good in the Eredivisie, and I do think that they will win this game pretty comfortably. I think they're going to win 2-0. The second game we got in Group E is Lazio versus Atletico Madrid. In my opinion, this game could really go either way. I feel like both of these teams are very defensive heavy teams, and honestly, I don't see a lot of goals being scored in this game. But I do think both teams will score. Obviously, Lazio have the home advantage, so I do expect them to score one goal, but I also think Madrid will score a goal, and I think this game will end in a 1-1 draw. Moving on into Group F, the group of death. There are some crazy games in this group, and the first game is AC Milan versus Newcastle. This game, I can already tell, is going to be an incredible matchup. Obviously, Tonali is returning to the San Siro to play against his former club. Honestly, I have no idea who is going to win this game. Newcastle obviously don't have many points in the Premier League, but they have had one of the hardest fixtures out of any other Premier League team. AC Milan on the other team look absolutely incredible in the Serie A. They are winning almost every single game, scoring 2-3 goals per game. I do think that Newcastle will probably score a goal in this game, but honestly, I could see AC Milan scoring 2, maybe even 3 goals. So my prediction is going to be that AC Milan are going to win 3-1. The second game we got in Group F is another incredible matchup, PSG versus Dortmund. In my opinion, both of these teams have had fairly underwhelming starts to the season. Both teams have lost a couple games, drawn a couple games, which really they should have won. But in my opinion, obviously PSG is playing this game at home. They have the support from the fans. They're going to be starting their best lineup. I do think that PSG are going to win this game. I think Dortmund are going to struggle to score, and I do think that PSG are going to win 2-0. Moving on into Group G, the first game we got is Young Boys against RB Leipzig. And in my opinion, Young Boys have a very underrated team. A lot of people will just write them off right away. But if you look at their players and how they play together, you'll realize that they are actually a pretty good team. But in my opinion, RB Leipzig are definitely the better team. They have had a pretty good start to this Bundesliga season. They made some great signings this summer. And even though they're playing away, because obviously the game is being played at the Young Boys Stadium, I do think that RB Leipzig are going to win this game pretty easily, and I think that they're going to win 2-0. The second game we got in Group G is Manchester City versus FK Crvena Zvezda. In my opinion, this is like the easiest prediction in the whole world. Obviously, Manchester City are going to win. Manchester City have one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world. They won so many trophies last year. They won the Premier League, they won the Champions League, they won the FA Cup, they won almost everything. City are just going to destroy them. Like, absolute demolition this game is going to be. I think Manchester City are going to win 5-0. Haaland hat-trick, maybe another goal from Foden, another goal from Ruben Diaz, and that will be game over. 5-0 for Manchester City. The final group that I have to predict in this video is Group H, and the first game we got is Barcelona against Royal Antwerp. Royal Antwerp haven't had the best start to this season. They've won a couple games, they've drawn a couple games, and they also lost a game. Barcelona, on the other hand, have had a pretty good start to this season. They've obviously won most of their games. Throughout the summer, they've made some incredible transfers. And I feel like most people, if not almost everyone, will back Barcelona to win this game. Obviously, Barcelona is at home, and for this reason, I don't think that Royal Antwerp will even score this game. And I do think that Barcelona are going to win 3-0. And finally, the last match I have to predict is Shakhtar Donetsk against FC Porto. In my opinion, I think this is going to be a very close game. I do think that Porto are the better team, but, you know, obviously Shakhtar, they're playing at home, and I feel like, you know, in Ukraine, great atmosphere, they definitely could score 1 or 2 goals in this game. Porto, on the other hand, are definitely the favorites to win this game. They've had a great start in the Liga Portugal, winning most of their games, and I do think that they will also score in this game. I think both teams are going to score a couple goals, and I do think it's going to end in a draw, but I think it's going to be 2-2. And that is the end of this video where I predicted every single match result for the first match day in the 2023-24 Champions League group stages. If you guys did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to see my predictions for the second match day, let me know